Hey guys, Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films, back again with Doctor Who. Last time around was The Bells of St. John. What was that one about?
I will be honest with you, I remember the Doctor had gone back to, the 13th century. He was in a monastery, and it was the monastery of St. John, and the monks came to tell him that the bells were ringing, and they go out down into this cave, and it's the TARDIS, and the phone is ringing. And it turns out to be Clara.
Yeah.
And that's literally all I remember at this point, because
you
guys know I had auditions, and it's a very large cast show. Got everything cast, sent it to my stage manager. Had 4 people. 2 of them had so many conflicts I decided I couldn't use them. Now, this is after they had put down that they had no conflicts on their audition sheet. One person who turned it down, didn't think it was a big enough role, I guess. And I can't remember what the 4th person was in another show and didn't know if they could overlap, but they did. But anyway, had it end up going from Saturday auditions, didn't get the show cast until Tuesday evening.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was mainly one of those Moffat episode set pieces that is there for 2 minutes at the beginning and then doesn't really matter at all. There's no real reason why the Doctor was in a monastery. You know, they say he was contemplating the message that Victorian Clara gave him at the end. He's trying to divine what the meaning was. I think they just wanted to put Matt Smith in some monk robes and just thought that would work. And there's a couple episodes like that where it's just like, this has nothing to do with the episode at hand. But anyway,
and it was Run, You Clever Boy, and Remember.
Yes. And then, but the main plot of it was this, these shadowy evil people that were trying to absorb souls into the internet with evil Wi-Fi for the Great Intelligence.
The Great Intelligence. Okay,
yeah.
Now that's coming.
And Clara was involved in all that. Modern day Clara, and she met the Doctor. They wound up getting into all of that, defeated the evil, shadowy people, and then at the end, Clara is going to go with the Doctor as a companion. And that's pretty much where we left off. So,
okay.
Yeah, it really has nothing to do with the Bells of St. John. There's just... Maybe they just, thought of that scene where it's just, the Bells of St. John, because it's the St. John ambulance sticker on the TARDIS. So it's oh, well, what could that mean? And then they thought of the monastery, and then they just probably sat on that for 5 years, and then they were like, where do we put that in? And they were just put it in this episode. It'll work.
Well, I kind of remember the Doctor had gone to, in the Snowman episode, he had gone to the Victorian times to get away from everything. And let's face it, if you're in a monastery in the early 1200s, there's not going to be a whole lot of people who are going to bother you.
Yeah.
The Crusades literally had only started in, I think, I want to say 1095 or 1195, can't remember it. But he would have been relatively safe from outside intrusion if he was indeed in a monastery.
Yeah. I think what it really was that the Snowmen came out in Christmas of 2012. The Bells of St. John came out months later, so they had to explain why he didn't just try to find Clara immediately. So they came up with he went to the monastery to contemplate Clara and try to understand her existence across multiple times, and then just happened to get a call from modern Clara about the Wi-Fi. So I don't know. It's okay. It is a minor part of the episode, so it doesn't really matter. But it is just kind of all right. So yeah, you got anything else?
I got nothing.
Then we might as well just jump right into this episode of Doctor Who.
The Rings of Akhaten. I would love this to be set in ancient Egypt, but you've already told me it's not.
Oh yeah.
That is an era that, except for that one episode with the monk, they really haven't explored much.
Well,
The Beano? Summer Special 1981. Alright. I read some of the...
was like Back to the Future.
Oh my stars.
I read some of those boys' magazines. They were very big in 63 to 66.
Because this exact leaf had to grow in that exact way, in that exact place, so that precise wind could tear it from that precise branch and make it fly into this exact face at that exact moment.
Alright, man.
If just one of those tiny little things had never happened, I'd never have met you. Which makes this the most important leaf in human history.
You know, romantic as that is, I can't believe you kept that leaf.
Hello there.
Clara.
Oh.
Hello there,
Yeah.
Clara.
Just trying to figure her out.
She's not possible.
The Impossible Girl.
Yep. That's Clara.
I told you this story. Your mother and I met and didn't know that we met until years later. She was at an audition where I was looking for actors. And I told her this was like in September. I told her I was doing a show in February. She should come back and audition for me. And I ended up casting her and then got to know her. And 5 years later started dating her.
So what's it made of? Time. I mean, if you can just roll it through it, it's got to be made of stuff like jam's made of strawberries. So what's it made of?
Not strawberries. No. That would be unacceptable. What do you want to see?
I don't know.
Meh.
Do you know when somebody asks you what's your favourite book and straight away you forget every single book that you've ever read?
No.
No, it's The Count of Monte Cristo. Next question.
And? Back to the question.
Okay.
I would like to meet Queen Elizabeth I.
Something awesome.
Okay, we have a setting for that.
Thought the artist translated all that.
Yeah, when it feels like it.
That chap's the terror berserker of the Cadonian belt. You don't see many of them around anymore. Oh, that's an ultramancer! You know, I forget how much I like it here. We should come here more often.
You've been here before?
Yes. I came here a long time ago with my granddaughter.
Yeah.
Oops.
Hang on.
Yeah, very long time ago.
So, why is everyone here?
For the Festival of Offerings takes place every 1,000 years or so when the rings align. It's quite a big thing locally, like Pancake Tuesday.
We did Pancake Tuesday at our medieval fair.
Yeah.
I know the perfect box.
At least the other guys were just like normal guys.
What's this? Space. Chippy thing. Timey. Spacey.
It's teeny.
You wait.
Oh, we didn't even give her a key.
What's wrong? I'm the vessel of our history. I know every chronicle, every poem, every legend, every song.
Every single one. Blimey, I hated history.
Now I have to sing a song in front of everyone. A special song. I have to sing it to a god. I'm really scared.
You don't say.
What have you been doing?
Exploring.
Sounds fun.
It's been going for millions of years, chorister handing over to chorister, generation after generation after generation.
Jeez. They haven't figured out the looping cassette tape yet. I don't have a lighter on me, so this is the closest I got.
Okay, what's happening? Is that supposed to happen? Is somebody going to do something? Excuse me, is somebody going to help her?
We're going to help her.
Listen, there is one thing you need to know about travelling with me. Well, one thing apart from the blue box and the 2 hearts. You don't walk away.
We just walk to our car to go save her. Or the moped, that works too.
If I recall, the spanner is a wrench, not a screwdriver.
Right. This is the second time they've ridden on a motorcycle-like vehicle in 2 episodes.
Oh, that is interesting. A frequency-modulated acoustic lock. The key changes 10 million zillion squillion times a second.
Can you open it?
Technically,
Squillion?
no. In reality,
Eh.
also no.
Oh, great, now your mind powers. Yep. Good job.
Indiana Jones.
Did you just lock us in?
Yep.
With the soul-eating monster?
Yeah.
Yep.
And is there actually a way to get out?
Nah.
For it is ourselves. He's coming, ready or not. You want to run? That's it then. Song's over.
The song is over.
Oh, I hate to be that guy. The guy that ended the
My
song.
name is Chorister Res Prefix, and the long song ended with me.
That's it then.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for the way out. Ah!
God chose me.
It's not a god. It'll feed on your soul, but that doesn't make it a god. It is a vampire, and you don't need to give yourself to him.
It is a vampire, isn't
Do you
it?
mind if I tell you a story, one you might
In the general sense.
All the elements came together and burst apart, forming shoes and ships and sealing wax and cabbages and kings.
Time has come, the walrus said, to talk of many
They
things.
came together.
So, if I don't, then everyone else.
We'll be fine.
Just let him starve.
There's always a way.
You promise?
Cross both of his hearts.
It's a beam struggle.
Actually, I think I may have made a bit of a tactical boo-boo, more of a semantics mix-up, really.
What boo-boo?
I thought the old god was grandfather, but it wasn't. It was just grandfather's alarm clock.
Sorry, a bit lost.
Eh.
Who's the old god? Is there an old god?
You promised.
I did promise.
Right, we're workshopping it.
I say leg it.
Take it where exactly?
I don't know. Lake District?
Oh, the Lake District's lovely. Let's definitely go there. We can eat scones. They do great scones in 1927.
You're going to fight it, aren't you?
Regrettably, yes. I think I may be about to do that.
It's really big.
I've seen bigger.
Really?
Are you
Meh.
joking? It's massive.
I'm staying with you.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got a face.
Can you hear them? All these people.
Can you hear the people sing?
Of you. You're just a parasite, eaten out with jealousy and envy and longing for the lives of others. You feed on them, on the memory of love and loss and birth and death and joy and sorrow. So, come on then. Take mine. Take my memories. I hope you've got a big appetite.
There's gonna be a lot.
I marked the passing of the Time Lords. I saw the birth of the universe and I watched as time ran out. Moment by moment until nothing remained. No time, no space. Just me. I walked in universes where the laws of physics were devised by the mind of a madman.
That was an episode. Oh, it wasn't enough.
So sometimes the strap is on one shoulder and sometimes it's across her body. A continuity error, I think.
Still hungry?
Ah, good job. Now there's no star, and all those planets are flying away.
Nope. Same house, same city, same planet. Hey, same day actually, huh? Yeah, not bad.
He doesn't get that very
All in
often.
one. You remind me of someone.
Who?
Someone who died.
Well, whoever she was, I'm not her, okay? If you want me to travel with you, that's fine.
In a cosmic sort of way.
But as me, I'm not bargain basement standing for somebody else. I'm not going to compete with a ghost.
That's what Martha said all those years ago. Yes, but what is she? We don't know.
All right. First off, interesting. Not the. I mean, again, it's a good story. Not the greatest story, but I have to commend whoever did the music because it does not sound like any kind of music format that we have currently on Earth. It didn't sound, totally alien like the different species that were speaking, but it had an unearthly quality to it, and that was very good. Again, you got old grandfather's alarm clock monster. You got the vigil. That's pretty kind of standard stuff. But again, the idea that you've got this generation after generation after generation trying to keep the old god asleep because somewhere along the line they've forgotten who he was, although Mary seemed to remember that. And again, Gal-El sounds a lot like Kal-El. And if you remember, the two guys who created Superman were both Jewish. So if they're the house of El, in the Old Testament, the house of El is literally the house of God. So there's a lot of really neat stuff going on a kind of, I don't want to say, boilerplate, ordinary episode. But again, as a historian, as somebody who studies history, I liked all the subtle stuff in there, even though the overall story was kind of mediocre. Yeah. And it's not bad, please don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it, and especially for all of the second level stuff. The primary plot seemed a little normal.
Oh, yeah. The highlight of the episode is the Doctor's speech, mainly because you can go on YouTube and find videos of Doctor Who conventions where they have asked almost every actor who has played the Doctor to read that speech as if it were their Doctor. So you can find like Peter Davison and Sylvester McCoy reading it as if, and they bring their own way of reading it apart from how Matt Smith reads it. For some reason, that's the one that like sticks out to people, is like I want to hear how other Doctors would read that one. So now I say almost every Doctor. I almost guarantee no one has gotten Christopher Eccleston to do it. They've only just gotten him back to conventions anyway. So
and probably not Tom Baker, I would imagine.
Probably not, unless it was in 2013, because he was still pretty. He was still pretty good around then. I mean, technically, have you seen any videos of him like within the past year or so? It's interesting because you can very clearly tell he's a man in his 90s, but at the same time, you can still see he's still Tom Baker.
Yeah,
he made a joke in one of the videos. It was like last year, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know about you. I plan to live to 200." So he's just going to keep going.
Well, he's the caretaker in the 50th anniversary, and he looked pretty good then.
Yeah. So there might be a video of Tom Baker. I don't know how many Doctor Who conventions he goes to though. So I know that for the most part you can find Peter Davison, Colin Baker, you can find McCoy. You might be able to find a video of McGann doing it as well. I don't know if maybe someone's gotten Tennant to do it, but and then after Matt Smith, I don't know if any of the later Doctors have done the speech, but this is always like the big one to have other Doctors do as well. So, and it's interesting. I think there might also be an edit of that speech on YouTube, specifically the version from this episode, where they'll take different things that the Doctor kind of references. He says, I stepped into a universe, a mad universe devised by a madman, and that would be Omega from the Three Doctors, the original 10th anniversary special. And so that's kind of what he's referencing there. So yeah, it's interesting because otherwise I don't think many people particularly enjoy this. I don't think people hate this episode, but I think it's really just the speech that stands out above everything else. Yeah. So, and I know I joked about the star just collapses in and it's gone, and it's just like, well, what happens then? It's like, well, the Doctor is The Doctor is the Doctor, and he has a TARDIS. I'm sure off-screen he just implanted a new sun there, so that those planets don't just go flying away. So
Now, referencing the YouTube thing, I've never clicked on it, but I always, because I get a lot of Doctor Who suggestions, but I always get some compilation of speeches from the Doctors, and it's simply called "I Am the Doctors."
yeah, this one probably is in there. Then, I actually got recommended a video of all of the Doctor's catchphrases over the years, and it's hilarious actually, because you get, like, in the modern day you get a lot of the obvious ones and everything. The classic ones are hilarious because they're just like the most random things that he just happens to say for like 20 episodes. For the Fifth Doctor, it's like Braveheart, Tegan. For the Sixth Doctor, it's just saying something 3 times and being annoyed. He does that a lot. For the Second Doctor, I think it's like, oh my word. The Third Doctor's easy. It's reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. For the Fourth Doctor, it's would you like a jelly baby? The First Doctor, honestly, is the funniest, because what they consider his catchphrase is every time he says, because he says that after almost every sentence. In fact, in the video, they only took that from 4 episodes of his. Otherwise, that would have been like a 10, 20-minute compilation of every time he says that. It's the funniest thing.
Now that you say that, and knowing what we know about Hartnell, especially in his 3rd year, I wonder if he was saying that because he was trying to buy time to remember his next line.
Maybe, yeah. Or if maybe if he says it more as sort of an inquisitive question, it sort of leans on the other person to deal with that. I don't know, but it's an incredibly funny video, just listening to all their dumb catchphrases over the years. So, but yeah. But otherwise, I think this is a decent episode.
Yeah.
And a good sort of background for Clara, while still going through the Doctor trying to figure out what's going on. How does this girl exist? So it's interesting. I think actually the biggest criticism of this episode, it's not really that important, but I think this was when people were really starting to get sick of the sonic screwdriver. Because it's just like, all right, here's the Doctor. And I think it works well enough because, this whole place is based on sound. With the singing and everything, it's like, oh, so singing, controls, like, the doors and everything. And they're, the vigils are using, like, sound waves, basically, to fight back. But having the sonic screwdriver holding open a door and then doing this, like, Harry Potter spell struggle with these guys. Like, I think that's where a lot of people were like, okay, can we tone down the sonic screwdriver? It's just too much of a magic wand at this point.
Well, I thought when he got into the inner chamber that the door was going to smash the sonic screwdriver, but I guess they needed it for the resolution.
Yeah.
And again, directorially speaking, if I had seen the script and then I saw that the, props department, whoever was going to make the alarm clock into this monster, I would say to myself, yeah, but he looks so much like all the other inhabitants there at the bazaar that if your ultimate villain's going to be this gigantic sun shape, then perhaps it should be more of a non-corporeal thing, just he's in the glass and, like the Human Torch or something that would be more representative of what he is supposed to be part of. So, and again, the Vigil didn't bother me that much because, again, they're just, they're droids of some kind. Got to make sure that little, what's her name, Mary, is consumed by the, whatever, again, they called him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, again, yeah, there's a lot of picky stuff in there. But, again, I really enjoyed the secondary stuff. And again, I don't know if that's the director, I don't know if that's the writer, but coming up with that music and that sort of thing, again, especially a 1-hour television show, that's quite extraordinary, I think.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good ideas in this episode, and the execution is so-so.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you got anything else?
I got nothing.
Then I guess that is pretty much it. I guess I guess you'll go off and find those videos of previous doctors doing that speech. So there is actually speaking of that, actually, I did a live stream years and years ago after I finished the season. I used to do a live stream after every season, just talking about it and stuff. And at some point, I did the speech, but I did it whispering and like close to the microphone. I don't know why. We used to get really goofy on those live streams. They like the joke was the joke became like, how long are we actually going to talk about this season of Doctor Who before I just devolve into some other weird topic. So but they were a lot of fun. They're all still up on the channel if you want to go, if anyone wants to go back and watch those. We have not done them very frequently recently, mainly because there have not been many Doctor Who seasons frequently recently. So, and that's pretty much the only time I stream anymore. So, but yeah, but you can go check those out, and you can go check out the actual people reading that speech. And that is basically it. And with all of that being said, we're Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films, and we will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of our modern Doctor Who reactions, as well as another playlist with every Doctor Who video that's on the channel. And there's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.